Happy Thursday everyone, my name's Michelle Irwin, I'm VP of Marketing at Sky and I'm making my Retail Media Thursday debut here in Brentford with Emil Bielski from Croud. Welcome Emil to Retail Media Thursdays. Do you want to tell everyone who you are and a little bit about Croud?
Yeah, sure. My name is Emil Bielski. I'm the Managing Director of Croud in the UK and across EMEA. And so, yeah, a little bit about Croud. We're a digital marketing agency with full service digital. We operate actually in 110 markets. So our kind of real core capability is being able to deliver digital marketing at scale, but also be able to localize it through our Crowdy network, which is our distributed workforce.
And I noticed you have some offices in pretty glamorous locations,
Yeah.
London, Dubai, New York. Shrewsbury.
Well, Shrewsbury really is the beating heart of Croud. A number of the founders were from that area, and that's where we've got a lot of our delivery staff based. We've got an amazing talent pipeline. There's incredible universities in the area, and it's a beautiful part of the world to live in. So, you know, we attract top talent, and the great thing is that they really stay there because, you know, they're able to work with a top digital agency without having to move to London and, you know, have all the benefits of that lifestyle. So really, you know, it's the beating heart, is the kind of the engine of much of what Croud is.
It's a great idea, especially as more retailers and brands move up north to
Absolutely,
Manchester.
yeah.
So, which pub are we in today, and why did you choose this one?
This is the Black Dog. It's an amazing independent pub that is just down the road from me. So I'm in Chiswick and this is in Brentford. And for me, it's got everything about, you know, that good pub should have. Amazing food, really good beers, wine on tap, which I also like.
Yeah.
And yeah, just a nice friendly atmosphere and a roaring fire in the winter, which is on at the moment, and that's why it's a little bit smoky.
Yeah, we will stink of smoke at the end of this, that's for sure. Okay, so let's get into the questions. The number of retail media networks seems to be multiplying every week. I mean, we saw ASOS announce their partnership with Criteo a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
With all of these different retail media networks, how do brands decide which ones to go with?
Well, I mean, I think as with all these things, we have to start with the audience and where the customer is. And then once we understand where our customers are, we need to look at, I guess, the sophistication and effectiveness of that platform. So from a sophistication point of view, it's really about the data that they're able to provide to us, how they're able to integrate with our first-party data or with our clients' first-party data, and then also just experience that the audience has on that platform. So being able to deliver high-quality creative executions is, you know, really critical, especially when you're working with a brand that, you know, is of a, you know, high value, or especially in the world of luxury, which I think is a bit of a challenge of retail media at the moment, is being able to not just deliver, you know, advertising at point of sale, but also to deliver a really powerful brand experience.
Okay, so we've done a lot of these discussions today, and whether it's been on camera or off camera, everyone is in agreement that ROAS has probably had its day. I know a lot of the brands that we speak to prefer to use iROAS, incremental ROAS, as a new metric. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, of course, you know, true commercial value is only measured through incrementality, right? So, you know, if you have a ROAS just on the simplified last click attribution, you don't know whether that purchase would have happened anyway. There are challenges with it. Number one is the speed that you're able to get that data to be able to measure true incrementality. You know, the type of tools that we use, be that studies such as causal impact, or more sophisticated type methodologies, they can only be done as tests, or they can only be done, you know, over extended periods of time with very large data sets. And what happens then is you have a statistical model of ROAS, which is great, but then it's quite hard to socialize that data amongst you know, more senior stakeholders in the business. People want to see something binary. This is a sale, this wasn't a sale. So the challenge around incrementality is, number one, I think, is around socializing that information, but also what does it mean for how you optimize activity day to day. So, you know, one solution is to build proxies or leading indicators that, you know, predict what an incremental ROAS would be, and then use that to optimize the algorithms. But that is quite a journey to go on with clients. And that just requires a very buttoned down approach to your measurement frameworks and the outcomes that you want to drive, as well as really good buy-in with the senior executives in your client base.
Yeah, it's definitely an issue that we're talking a lot to clients about, and one that I think needs to be solved as we move into this next phase of retail media, is proving that incremental value.
For sure, yeah.
Okay, so Croud, you don't just focus on retail media, you work with clients on all digital channels, search, social, programmatic.
Yeah.
One of the things we're hearing more and more, and we've just seen it in our State of Retail Media study, is that there needs to be more connectivity between these channels. What are your thoughts on this, and how are brands kind of doing this in reality?
I think incrementality, as we talked about in the previous question, that's the glue that brings together these different channels. And what you need is, a fairly objective measurement of that full customer journey. The challenge is, as I discussed earlier, is the number of studies and the level of investment that's required to achieve that. So to deliver that kind of omni-channel marketing, you're not only looking at incrementality, you're trying to understand the relationship of brand effects to your bottom line and to sale, and put that into like a clear framework or a clear model. So yes, more and more clients are striving to achieve that, but it's getting more and more complex because the data that we get from each of those platforms is becoming more siloed than open. So, what's really interesting is some of the work that we're doing with yourselves, using the Amazon data clean room to be able to bring together the different activities that we're running for one of our key clients, looking at the search data, looking at the programmatic data within that platform, and then reconciling and building a model for the relationships across those two. So I think the future is these more integrated frameworks and more heavy lifting in the data science space within those kind of clean rooms, and being able to work with partners such as Sky on building these omni-channel solutions.
We did not pay you to say any of that there, so thank you.
No, just the lime and soda. So I'm very cheap.
Cool, so moving on to the next question. I was stalking you on LinkedIn recently and saw that you posted something around ChatGPT.
Like everyone else.
Like everybody else, I mean, who hasn't in the last 12 weeks. What are your thoughts on how that's going to impact retail media and generative AI, not just ChatGPT?
Yeah, I mean, I think, in lots of different ways. I think it allows us to, look at a huge amount of different types of data, to understand our audiences better, to understand what they're talking about, how they feel about brands, and about businesses that they purchase from, to be able to build, I think, more coherent experiences and coherent user journeys for them. That's from an insight perspective. It's a very early use case for that. And then, from a creation of content and creative, I think it allows us to build up far more iterations and variants of creative, and to be able to deliver that at a huge scale that will, I believe, lead to better outcomes and better experiences. So I think there's just so many different areas that it can touch upon. And the challenge, I guess, is that the technology is advancing so fast. I think we need to really focus on the job that needs to be done right now, and then see whether the technology can support us. Because if you try and keep up with everything that's coming out, I think it'll just send everyone into a tailspin. So it's about taking this pragmatic approach, focus on how you can help that customer have that better experience.
Yeah, there's a lot of basics we still need to get right first in retail media, right? Before we start thinking about generative AI.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, lay the right foundations and keep your mind open to those advancements, but don't use them just for the sake of it.
Yeah. No. Okay, so final question. Fast forward 12 months, we're sat back here in this pub. Where is retail media at? What's changed?
Wow, so it's a pretty big question. I mean, I think retail media, as you touched upon at the beginning of the interview, has grown phenomenally. you know, from the latest report I think that you published, 11% of total media budgets globally are in the retail media space. The challenge, I think, is that based on the same people that were surveyed, they do not believe the teams have the capabilities at the moment to kind of manage the scale and sophistication and speed of advancement that's happening in the retail media space. So, you know, I'd really expect those numbers to increase, maybe up to 20% of total budgets in retail media. But to be able to do that, there's two things. One, I think, to unlock the branding potential of retail media, to look at it beyond just a point of sale tactic, because you are speaking to a customer, a potential audience, when they are in that frame of mind to take information on about a brand, which is incredibly powerful. So we need to realize the potential of that. To do that, I think, requires two things. One, as we touched upon earlier, much more sophisticated approach to measurement, but also building up the capabilities of the teams. So I think partners such as yourselves are, you know, absolutely critical to, you know, to help train, you know, both client teams and agency teams on how to seize advantage, because I think the future is incredibly bright for retail media over the next 12 months. And the only thing that will get in the way of growth, I guess, is ourselves.
There you go.
Cool.
Okay, so everyone's favourite bit of the show.
Okay, looking forward to it.
Quick fire questions. Summer or winter?
Summer, every time.
Texting or talking?
A good conversation on the phone, definitely.
Who is your first celebrity crush?
Deborah Unger from Highlander 2.
Way before my time.
I know. Showing my age there. Anyway.
Your favourite kind of tea?
Peppermint tea. Very soothing.
That's very, very soothing. And can you name the 7 dwarfs?
Absolutely not. My daughter's only 5 months old, so I haven't had an opportunity to revisit the dwarfs, but I think I always emphasize with Dopey, you know, sometimes that's how I feel before I've had my first morning coffee.
It's definitely how I felt when I walked in here today.
I think we both brought it up though.
We did. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been great talking to you, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you so much. It's a great partnership we have with Sky, and I really appreciate this time.
Thank you.